Toolman and Sean. We are on location at my buddy Aaron's house in Petaluma, California. And today what we're going to show you how to do is replace the starter on a FZJ80 Land Cruiser. Before we get going on the job, let me show you the starter Aaron bought. Here's the starter, and Aaron, being the smart guy that he is, he bought an OEM Denso starter. Aftermarket starters could work, but they are more prone to having issues, so you can't go wrong by going with the original equipment manufacturer starter. And here's the part number. One thing I want to mention when it comes to starters is quite often the reason why the starter is not working is because you have worn out copper contacts and or a worn out plunger. And so this is the solenoid. You can take the cover off and then you can investigate. Aaron already replaced the contacts and plunger and it didn't fix the issue. And that's why he went ahead and bought a new Denso starter for his Land Cruiser. So I wanted to mention that because you could save a bunch of money if it's just a problem with the contacts and plunger, which is super common. If you click on the link above, you can see how I rebuilt a starter on my 3rd Gen 4Runner. Potentially save yourself a lot of money by doing that repair. The starter on this 80 series Land Cruiser is on the driver's side, and if you go in the wheel well, you can see it right there. Looking at the Toyota manual for this, there's not a whole lot of information, and that's fine because it looks like it's pretty easy to replace. So we're gonna jack up the vehicle. We're gonna get this front driver's side tire off to where we can work in this wheel well, because it looks like that's going to be the best access to disconnect the electrical connectors and to be able to get to at least one of the bolts. All right, so we have the front end jacked up. We have it supported with the 6-ton jack stand. Now we're going to get the wheel off. I'm first going to take this decorative cover off, and the size lug nut is 21 millimeter. I'm going to zip them off with my DeWalt gun. So now you can see we have some really nice access through the driver's side wheel well to get to the starter. The next thing I'm going to do is figure out what tools I need to disconnect the electrical connectors at the top of the starter. But before we do that, since we're going to be disconnecting a power cable to the starter, we're going to disconnect the negative terminal to the battery. The clamp for the negative terminal is a 10 millimeter. I'm going to loosen it with a little 1/4 inch ratchet and a deep 10 millimeter socket. And it's disconnected. There's 2 things I need to disconnect at the top of the starter. The first one is the exciter wire. This is what sends the signal when you turn your key to start the engine. That sends the signal for the starter to actuate, to turn over the engine. The other thing I have to disconnect is this 12 millimeter nut, and all I had to do to expose that is lift up this plastic cover. I'm going to get on there with a 12 millimeter socket and my 1/4 inch ratchet and take that off. The release mechanism for the exciter wire is at the top, so you just squeeze it and then pull the connector back this way. I'm going to push with my thumb on the release mechanism and pull backward, and that was pretty damn easy. Now I'm going to get my 1/4 inch ratchet and socket and loosen that nut. I've got my flex head 1/4 inch ratchet onto that nut, and I'm going to loosen it. Okay, it feels like it's loose enough for me to get the nut off by hand. Okay, I've got the nut off and the connector is off. I'm going to go for the top bolt first. Both of the bolts are 17 millimeter. I'm going to use an extension that looks to be about 4 or 5 inches long and a deep 17 millimeter socket and my flex head 1/2 inch ratchet. These flex head ratchets are invaluable, and you're going to see why when we get in here and show you the access. Having the flex head ability is going to allow me much easier access than a standard ratchet that doesn't articulate like this. Another thing about this ratchet is it has 120 click points of engagement, which means I only have to turn the ratchet 3 degrees to get to the next engagement point, which is pretty crucial in a tight situation like this. So this is going to allow me to be able to loosen and tighten the bolt in a very tight area. Okay, that's loose. I'm not going to take it all the way out right now. Now I'm going to go underneath the truck and loosen the bottom bolt. For the bottom bolt, this is how I'm going to access it. I have what looks to be longer than 12 inches. I tell my wife that's 12 inches all the time, but I don't know if she believes me. It looks like it's over 12 inches. And then I have a 1/2 inch swivel, which is going to get me better access because I'm going to be coming in from underneath the truck, getting on that back bolt. So the bottom bolt is right here. I'm going to get onto it with the socket, and then I'm going to break it free with my 1/2 inch ratchet. And I'm going to go ahead and take this one all the way out. And here's that bolt. Before I remove that top bolt to be able to pull the starter out, it looks like our best access is going to be removing it right through here. I'm anticipating that this brake line bracket and brake lines are going to get in our way a little bit. So I'm going to remove this 12mm bolt that attaches the brake line bracket to the driver's side frame. This way it will give me a little bit of flex in case it won't fit through this pocket between the bracket and this transmission oil dipstick. Now you can see that it will give us a little bit more space in order to pull the starter out. Now I'm gonna remove that top bolt. To make life easier, I'm gonna finish zipping out that top bolt with my Milwaukee ratchet. I'm gonna be supporting the starter with my right hand while working the ratchet with my left. The bolt's all the way out. I'm just gonna slide it out and then work the starter out. Will it come out the bottom? Let me see. Yep, it comes out the bottom. So we really didn't have to mess with that brake line bracket. This is a really easy starter to access and get out. So the access to pull it out is right here, right at the back side of the oil pan. If you go forward a little more, it's going to be tighter. So just slide it back to the back side of the oil pan and boom, it's out. Just to let you know, both of the starter bolts are the same length. So I'm going to go in with the new starter the same direction I took the old starter out. Then I'm just going to kind of rest it there for a second and then reposition into the fender well. So I'm just going to feed the starter in, get it aligned. I've got the starter in there and I've got the bottom bolt started, and then I'm going to get the top bolt started. You don't want to go all the way tight with either bolt before you get the other one started, because then you might not be able to get the other one in. You want it a little bit loose so you can manipulate it to get the thread started. Okay, I've got both of them started. And I'm just gonna cinch them up by hand and then we'll get in there and tighten them up. The torque value for those two starter bolts is 29 foot-pounds. Because of the way you have to access, with this one, I'm coming in at an angle. You're not gonna get an accurate torque spec. So the bottom one I just tightened by feel, and I'm going to do the same with the top one because I know my torque wrenches don't have the same amount of click points like my gear wrench flex head ratchets have. And so it's going to be difficult to get a torque value on the top one too. So I'm just going to go by feel with that one also. Use your best judgment and use that German spec we all know and love, good and tight.
Good and tight.
I've got both of the 17mm bolts tight. Now I'm just reconnecting the positive cable to the top of the starter with the 12mm nut. And no torque value for that one either. I'm just going to go by feel with the same 1/4 inch ratchet and 12mm socket. I also plugged in the exciter wire. Now we're going to reconnect the battery and start it up and just make sure it works. We discovered that Aaron's battery was a little low. The truck's been sitting for a while, so we're jumping it with his other big Ford truck. All right, we're all good.
My wife's gonna be happy.
So we're just gonna let the engine idle for a while to charge up the battery while we get the driver front tire back on. We've got the vehicle back down onto the ground, and I'm gonna now torque the lug nuts to 85 foot-pounds in a crossing pattern. And then I'm just gonna go around in a circle to make sure they're all good, in case I missed one. And then I'm just gonna put the cover back on. All right, we are all done with this job. As you saw, replacing the starter on an 80 series Land Cruiser is pretty damn easy. The access is really good if you do like we did and jack up the rig and remove the driver front tire so you can get in the wheel well to do a lot of the work. If you don't remove the tire, then I could see this being a little bit of a pain in the butt. So follow our lead and do it exactly how we showed you. With all that said, we thank you for watching Toyota Time with Timmy the Tool Man and Sean and special guest Aaron. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click on that subscribe button and also click on that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when we put up new content on our channel, which we are always putting up very helpful and sick mods kind of content. So don't miss out. Peace out. Bye-bye.